Over 4 million children die of malnutrition in sub-Saharan Africa alone every year. The World Health Organization cites hunger as the gravest single threat to the world's public health. Improving nutrition is widely regarded as the most effective form of aid. Without good food, children's growth is stunted and their stomachs are bloated. Without good food, children can't concentrate at school and are less likely to attend. Without good food, their immune systems are weaker and they're less able to fight disease. Mins-mp4 Africa has been feeding orphan children since it was established in 2007 by its founder Lucy Caslan. Mins-mp4 Africa works with a number of project partners who run soup kitchen style feeding programs or deliver nutritious food parcels to orphanages, child-headed households and schools in sub-Saharan Africa. Today, Mins-mp4 Africa feeds over 1,000 children. Lucy first visited Lesotho in southern Africa in 2006 when she volunteered at mins-mp4 Children's Home. She forged a close bond with the children and decided to set up a charity that would provide them with basic food, medical supplies and shelter. Lucy's work in Africa was inspired by one boy in particular.
This is Morabedi. He is an amazing little chappie. He's 6.5 and responsible for feeding almost 1,000 kids, because it was Morabedi that made me start the charity really. He was 3, very sickly, malnourished, weak, really not doing very well at all. He does have underlying health issues that sadly will always be with him, but I've just seen that over the years he's got so much better with good food and access to medical supplies. So he is living proof that the charity is doing great things for kids like him.
The orphanage is Patwa Mins-mp4, which is it's a city name of Mins-mp4 Children's Home. A lot of them are HIV orphans. So basically your common thing amongst them is the HIV/AIDS that has wiped out their families. Mins-mp4 has helped us by raising funds for this new dormitory, which has really been a great help to us. As you can see, it's modern, clean and really lovely.
The new dormitory building at Mins-mp4 is a far cry from the children's previous bedrooms, which were too hot in the summer, too cold in the winter, and leaked in the rainy season. The new dorms also have space to accommodate a house mother who sleeps in the same room as the children, providing comfort and a motherly figure, which is particularly important for the younger children.
Mins-mp4 Africa does a great job. I know that if I want something, I can call on her and she will do her best to help me with it.
Mins-mp4 Africa believes that nutritious food is the foundation from which you can start to improve a child's life. In Durban, HIV is disproportionately high in street children who, to compound the situation, are unable to take antiretroviral drugs due to the instability of their lives. This means nutritious food is literally life-saving. A good diet is very often the only thing that stops the progression of HIV to AIDS. Tom and his team of outreach workers, many of whom are ex-street children themselves, work with Mins-mp4 Africa to rehabilitate street children back into mainstream society through counselling, sport and nutrition programs. Street life is horrifying and extremely dangerous. Gang culture and physical and sexual violence are rife. Frequently, girls are sexually assaulted, often resulting in pregnancy and a second generation of street children. As a coping mechanism, street children sniff glue to dull their senses and to block out fear. It also staves off hunger, a necessity when you don't know where your next meal is coming from.
The nutrition program that Mins-mp4 Africa has helped us to put into place is crucial, because you're dealing with a large percentage of children who are HIV positive. In this unstable environment of street life, you can't be giving antiretroviral drugs, just impossible. You can, however, provide basic nutrition. But we can actually see a dramatic change in the kids. I mean, where they were much sort of skinnier and bonier and unhealthy looking and malnourished, they're really starting to fill out. And obviously, if you couple that with the sporting programs like the soccer and the surfing that they're doing, we're really seeing a pretty major effect in quite a small amount of time, which is thrilling for us. The nutrition programs become a central component to what we do, and we're really drawing in the kids so they spend less and less time on the streets.
In rural South Africa, transport can't reach the most isolated villages. If orphans can't get to the food must be taken to the orphans. Aid isn't always provided by large international charities. For every organisation you've heard of, there are hundreds of smaller organisations that have been established as a personal response by people who've seen poverty and hardship in their local communities and whose work has a huge impact on a local scale. Another project supported by Mins-mp4 Africa was started by Chad and his wife. Chad grew up just outside an impoverished village, and once he and his wife started feeding local orphan children, they found themselves with over 1,000 children desperately needing their help.
We're driving through an area called Ngamzan. It's obviously a poverty-stricken area, so food parcels are always a big asset to the families that are out here. Without a decent meal, especially breakfast, how do the kids concentrate at school? So in providing them with a basic food parcel that enables them to have a meal is huge. Been many cases where we have found in the past eating nothing but maize and a piece of sugarcane. Maize because it's their staple diet, it's the starch, and sugarcane because it adds some sort of flavouring to the meal.
Despite desperate poverty, the spirit of giving is incredible. Many orphans are taken in by other households in the village. This puts adults under great pressure, and they struggle to share meagre rations of food between many mouths. Katiwe looks after 5 children. Not all of them are hers, but if she doesn't feed them, they will starve. Mins-mp4 Africa's projects understand the importance of sustainable food sources, but nowhere more so than in rural areas, where shops are too far and too costly for impoverished families. Food parcels include seeds to enable families to grow their own fruit and vegetables, and project managers regularly visit fledgling gardens to offer help and advice. By growing their own food, households are less dependent on aid. Finding sustainable food sources means the charity's money is used more efficiently, so more children can be fed in the long run. Sadly, there are 2 certainties in Africa. Food prices will always be high enough to see that impoverished households struggle daily to afford to eat. And with the rising number of orphans left behind by the AIDS crisis, demand for the services our projects provide will increase. We have to be there to help the projects meet this demand. The charity has had a positive impact on the lives of many children in Africa because of the support of people just like you. You can help us continue to make a difference. With good food, children can be healthy and active. With good food, children have the energy to concentrate at school and get the best from their education. With good food, the immune systems of HIV-positive children are strengthened, and this means that children like Morabedi will live longer.
Come on.